the discipline, the mindset, the grit, it all transfers, but not always in the way that you think. I remember when I used to run gassers, going sideline to sideline, high school and college, both of them. I would throw up. I'm talking about throwing up, man, wondering like, what am I doing? We're going 100 yards back. And it's like going 4 ways back and forth down the field equals 1 gasser, right? That's crazy. Like, we doing like 10 of those, 12 of those. And if you come in last, you got to do more of them. You got to stay after practice. That's in college. But then in high school, it was just a lot, right? That being said, all of these times when I'm running, I'm like, yo, I'm ready to stop. Like, I'm ready to stop. I need to stop. My mind is done. My legs are shot. I can't breathe. I need to stop, is what I would tell myself. But I never stopped. It's the same way in business, guys. It's been plenty of times in business, and specifically with me with real estate wholesaling, when cold calling, that I'm calling, like, bro, I need to stop. I need to stop. Like, I need to get off the phone. Nothing has happened. Like, I need to get off the phone. I gotta stop. I gotta go do something else. From the standpoint of just coming back to it later, right? But I would not stop, right? And it's been several times that I didn't stop, and I've gotten deals just from not stopping. That persistence transfers in a way that's not measurable, because when you're running, that's exercise, right? You're running, mentally you know that if you stop, then you not completing what you were set out to complete, which is your goal, which is to run 20 gassers or 50 gassers or however many gassers, right? It's the same thing in business. Mentally, when you stop, only difference is when you're an entrepreneur, there's no force. There's no end destination that you can see, depending on your entrepreneurial journey, right? With real estate, if you're calling, or if you're continuing your marketing channel, or if you're continuing, your texting, whatever your marketing channel is, driving for dollars, there's nothing that says if you keep going 2 more hours, or if you run 2 more times, then you're complete. It's all about faith, but that persistence is what leads you to the faith, right? That leads me right into the first one, the power of consistency. The power of consistency is not to be mistaken. It's something that's embedded in you when you play sports, especially when you're young, right? If you're playing sports from 6, 7, 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old, all the way, up until 18, 19, it doesn't just go away. It's about you tapping back into that consistency and learning how to transfer it over into actual business, right? Whether it's marketing for me, deal hunting, or just content curation, the one who stays consistent wins. And that's what I tell myself, right? I'm involved in a lot of things. That being said, I'm putting myself in the best position to be able to remain consistent. But even in my position that I'm in, I do what I can do, right? God has given us all that we need to be successful and to succeed to another level of success. It's what I firmly believe since I've started my entrepreneurial and just my creative journey and everything, which is why that's something that keeps me going. It's the same thing that you have to believe in order to officially see what you set out to see through, guys. For me, just sticking with the real estate side of things, when I first started, guys, there was no end destination in sight. There was no, like I said, call for 3 months, then you get your first deal. Call for 1 month, you get your first deal. Drive for dollars this many hours, then you get your first deal. Send this many email, this many texts, you get your first deal. This many bandit signs, then you get your first deal. No, it wasn't that. It was the having faith and just remaining consistent and ultimately picking one channel that really worked for me and remaining hyper consistent on that channel from the standpoint of marketing, right? And it's the same thing with anything that you do throughout your life. So I would say you gotta really, no matter what you do, there's always a potential of it not working out. You know what I'm saying? How you imagine. That being said, when that happens, you really gotta handle losses like a champion. And that is something that's easier said than done. It's something that if you're really a winner, if you're really a competitive person within your spirit and you feel like you're a winner, it's something easier said than done to handle losses like a champion. But it's a necessity if you're going to be able to reach any level of success. But certainly if you're going to reach the highest levels of success, you have to be able to handle your losses like a champ, which means that you take an L and you move on and go to the next one. In sports, you don't win every game, right? And you gotta bounce back, and how you bounce back is really what determines your career. In business, when a deal falls through, investment flops, or a bad hire happens, whatever happens, the real ones know that if they adjust and keep moving, that's how they'll be able to move to that next chapter. When it happens with me in business, as far as handling losses, what that looked like for me, as far as there was one time a deal didn't go through, and it was not an ideal time, right? A deal didn't go through. What I had to do was act like it didn't happen, guys. And it was, like I said, not at an ideal time in my life from the standpoint if that deal went through, things could have been a lot different, but it just didn't go through. And it was something that I was pretty certain of, right? And if you watch my last, I guess, like short form video, vertical on here, I talked to you guys about how I had a deal just recently here in Florida. And that deal didn't go through, right? And I was very certain of the first deal that I got under contract here in Florida, but it didn't go through. But that being said, guys, when that happens, you got a choice. The choice is ultimately, it's up to you. The choice is ultimately, do I stop or do I keep going? Do I stop, think about, why it didn't go through, dwell on why it didn't go through. You want to think about it, but dwell on why it didn't go through. Do I stop and just say, hey, this doesn't even work. I'm done doing it. It doesn't work. I keep losing. I'm taking these losses. How does it work if I keep losing, right? Or do you keep believing and being like, hey, that time it didn't work out for me, right? So I lost the battle, but I'll still win the war kind of thing. If you have that kind of mindset in business, that'll take you a long way. It's the same thing, like I said, in the course of your career with sports, no matter if you're, no matter what kind of athlete you are, right? You have multiple matches, multiple games that you're playing. You're not going to win every game, right? Look at the Kansas City Chiefs. Look at the 2012, I'm going back, but the Patriots, right? When they were undefeated the whole season, there's plenty of people who have been undefeated, but they always at some point, they may lose one, right? They may lose one. If they lose one, how they bounce back, unless you Floyd Mayweather. There it is. Unless you Floyd Mayweather, we found one. Floyd Money Mayweather never lost. But unless you Floyd Money Mayweather, you might take a loss, right? And I'm sure he's lost in other areas of his life, and that even had to keep him going to stay consistent to be able to achieve in just one area of his life, right? Nobody is 100% and it's 100 and up. In sports, you study film, but in business, you study your mistakes. That's the biggest thing, guys. So lesson 3, this next one is something that's interesting, how my approach has been throughout my life, but I will say that overall it is a necessity, and I'm looking at ways to include it even more in my life as we currently sit down and speak, okay? So this next one is the importance of having a coach or a mentor. So in sports, you don't just go out there and wing it, right? You have a whole game plan, you strategize, you have your coaching sessions, you have coaches, trainers, teammates, everybody who guides you, okay? Now, in business, the thing is, if you don't really seek mentorship, you'll waste time by not avoiding avoidable mistakes. Now, here's the thing about mentorship when it comes in business. And I'm going to just keep it a buck with y'all. Like, in my own business, in my own life, I've never hired a mentor. I've never hired somebody who's like, yo, this is a mentor for this. Now, it's not to say that I never will hire a mentor, because as I've grown, I've actually recognized the importance of it more than when I was young. I started at 19 years old, right? So me starting at 19 years old, can't nobody tell me nothing, I'm just gonna do it. But my mentors were online from the standpoint of being able to look on YouTube. So me being able to look on YouTube and watch what certain people were doing and listening to their stories and listening to how they succeeded, how they failed, what they learned from it, that helped me avoid a ton of avoidable mistakes, even giving me a position where I've been in situations where I could have made a mistake or I made that mistake, but now let me look on YouTube and figure out how to correct that mistake. You feel me? So if you don't never buy a coaching, actually I take that back. I bought one coaching thing, and that actually changed my whole life, to be real with you. It was a script that I bought right in the very beginning of me learning how to wholesale real estate. I bought a script. It changed my life, not by me being able to use that script to this day, because I don't, but it did give me a point of reference. It gave me a reference point. And that's what I would say towards anybody who's looking to do, entrepreneurship, business, whatever. Don't be afraid to buy a reference point. Well, if that's in the form of a course, if that's in the form of a membership, if that's in the form of a coaching program, a mentorship for a certain period of time, no matter what it is, that's what you're buying, guys. You're being able to buy someone else's experience. You're being able to buy someone else's life lessons. And when you're watching it, that's what you're absorbing. If you're absorbing this right now, you're getting pieces of my life and some of my life lessons, right? So that's my spiel, having a coach or a mentor. Like I said, guys, that's to each his own on that. But if in this modern era, don't take the term mentor so literal. A mentor does not have to be somebody that you pay $50,000 for to spend a month with. It can be somebody that you watch every day on YouTube or that you look at on social media, right? And you're just following their life and you're not being naive. You don't have an ego that's saying, hey, they went through this, but I won't go through that. You know, when you absorb it and be like, "Yo, they went through that, so it's possible I might go through that, but this is how I'll handle that." That's the importance of a mentor. That's the importance of listening to anybody that's older, anybody giving you any kind of game and advice. It's like never to sit back and judge, like, I never to go through that. They did that, I never. It's never to do that. It's always to be like, yo, they went through that. Well, damn, if I ever go through that or if I ever come across that, this is how I maneuver that. This is how I get out of that. This is how I overcome that, right? Whatever the case may be, you know, that's what it means to me. And that's just me keeping it a buck with y'all as far as how I work throughout my life, all right? So, last one, man, is the value of having a team. I'm learning that more now. It's very easy to talk about how, you know, you don't need nobody, especially in this modern day era. From the standpoint of social media, from the standpoint of all this stuff, I feel like it's so easy, you know, it's even like it's kind of cool, right? To talk about how you never needed nobody and you did it yourself and da da da. Anybody that ever told you they did it themselves, I guarantee somebody helped them. I guarantee it, right? My point is, I don't think you can get to any level of success without having somebody that you're able to build with. Just like in sports, guys. No matter how talented you are by yourself, more than most likely, unless you play boxing or golfing or something like that, tennis, you are going to need team members, right? I came from a team sport myself. That was my main sport, which was football. But you know, you got basketball, you have all these things. But even think about a boxer. A boxer needs a trainer. You know what I'm saying? A boxer needs a conditioning coach, a strength coach, a nutritionist. A boxer still needs people, guys. Nobody can do it by themselves. Even if you only see one person get the win, there were 20 other people behind them that guaranteed that they helped in some way to make sure, even if his mindset was right, to be in that position, okay? So in business, guys, a solid team is the difference between scaling and staying stuck doing everything yourself. In the beginning of this, when it comes to real estate, I was doing everything myself. I was doing everything myself until I moved. And that's when I first started to scale. So like with the first year, I did everything myself. I was going out to the property, I'm calling everybody, I'm doing everything, right? When I moved, I really had to learn how to build a team. And that's been the biggest, that's been my next step, right? That's my next step as far as all right, putting people in place, putting people where they need to be and making them and helping them succeed in that position. Because that's ultimately how you delegate. That's ultimately how you succeed, because my energy is not 100% throughout the day. Now I have somebody helping me with the social media side of things, as far as just posting stuff. And I have somebody helping me as far as, cold calling and keeping the calls in motion. Next out, it'll be, video editing. Then it'll be acquisitions manager. When I hire somebody to be the boots on the ground, if I stay where I stay at, which, I'm a nomad. I'll likely move somewhere, but I love building businesses, especially with all the knowledge that I have, putting people in place, and then having people in place. At that point, you're working your way up out of that position when it comes from a business standpoint. So the goal of building a team in a business is different than building a team in a sport. A sport, that goal ultimately is for y'all to all get the W, right? Y'all all get the W. In business, look, if you're hiring people and you're paying them, then I guess they're getting a W, right? At the end of the day. For me, I'm a big bonus type of person. I love giving bonuses. I love being able to give somebody something that they were not expecting. I love being able to do that just out of joyness in my heart. It just makes me feel good. But at the same time, I love that when people work without expecting something, but then they still give you that same effort as if you gave them a bonus anyway. I love that kind of stuff because that makes me want to go ahead and give them something. So me building a team has been something that's really been it's been the next stage, I'd say, of my entrepreneurial journey. I think it's the hardest, the most challenging one. It's easier to do it by yourself. They say if you want to go quick, go alone, right? If you want to go far, go with a team. And that's the thing about it, right? It's easy to do it by yourself. You can go alone. But if you want to go far, it's better to have people in place and, have people around you that are all working towards one common goal and one common interest. All right, just to wrap it up, guys, consistency, handling losses, mentorship, and building a team are the big four skills that I've transferred from sports into business. And now I'm curious, which of those four skills do you think transfer the most over to the business side from sports? Okay, and I would say just stay tuned in, guys. I appreciate y'all tuning in here. Considering that subscribe button, like button. Stay tuned in to more content. I have some more things coming. What I wish I knew before starting a business, stuff like that. Maybe the athlete mindset versus entrepreneur mindset. Those kind of videos are the main ones that are coming up. And then we got some more things coming as you guys see with the content. I appreciate you tuning in. Until next time, as always. Hey, thanks for stopping by our YouTube channel. I hope you were motivated into action today. If you were, share this video with somebody. Like and subscribe and leave a comment. I want to know 3 things. First, where are you watching from? Second, what sport did you play and at what level did you play it at? Last but certainly not least, what entrepreneur journey are you going down? What business are you starting? And do you currently have that business now? Let me know. Guys, leave those comments and I hope to see you back here again soon. Until then though, as always, stay blessed and of course, get to stepping.